Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're back. Football is back. Wake up. Wake up and get excited. Damn it. We are back. The NFL kicks off today, Thursday, September 9th. This is Wake Up with Ray G, presented by Bets TV. I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Jordan Richards. What's up to all the people checking us out right now? I see you, Stone Ferris, in the comments. Football is back, baby. Football is back, and we are joined by two special guests that get introduced before Jordan. We've got, as we begin our run to a Super Bowl, we got Dak Prescott here, and we got CeeDee Lamb here. They are going to connect for sweet, beautiful music, sweet, beautiful magic today. I talked to CeeDee last night. He said, Ray, I got you. I know you bet on me. I'm going to handle it. And Dak said, I know I haven't thrown a ball in like a year. I haven't played in any live game action, but GQ, we got you as we begin our run to the NFC East crown, the NFC Division Championship, the NFC Championship, and we get ready to play in the Super Bowl in February. I am pumped, baby. I am ready. Jay, how you doing this morning?
I am good. I wish that you could have spared the people's eardrums as you banged the table for your Cowboys. But you know what? I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Football is here. We still got our promo with drafters. 25% deposit match will end today because their contest starting today at 8 o'clock. Everything locks, and they still got lots of overlay on all their contests. So go use promo code BETSTV for a 25% deposit match at Drafters Fantasy, drafters.com. Go check it out. But I'm happy to be here, man. I'm really happy. Tampa Bay, Dallas, one good team, Super Bowl champions, one team trying to win their division, but you know what? That's okay. They're going to figure it out, and I think Dallas is going to put together a good season. Like your boy CeeDee, he's there. You're muted right now, which is okay. So there
no,
you go.
I'm whispering. I'm not muted. I'm just talking. Me and CeeDee we're having personal time right here. Me and CeeDee are going to we're going to get this done. I may take a flight to Tampa tonight. I mean, it is we're ready, baby. We are. Damn it. It's been a minute. We've been rocking with the show, going through the team previews. And it all starts here. The road to Super Bowl starts and goes through the Dallas Cowboys. I'm excited, and I think we've got some Cowboys news to talk about to kick off the morning run. So let's get into it, and I'm going to let you take it, Jay.
Wake up. This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run.
All right.
Go.
It
wouldn't be the NFL season. It wouldn't be the kickoff of the NFL season if we didn't talk a little bit of money, right? So yesterday, Sportico put out a little news brief talking about NFL team valuations, and the Dallas Cowboys were valued at almost $7 billion, $6.92 billion, the most expensive franchise, period, across all major sports. Second was the New England Patriots. Third was the Rams. So again, the Dallas Cowboys catching a dub early yesterday. They may not be catching a dub later tonight, but that's okay. So it's just crazy to think about these NFL valuations of teams. NFL overall is worth around $112 billion amongst the 32 teams. Ray, I see you strapping on the helmet, ready to get rolling with your boys.
I'm ready.
Yes, Troy, $7 billion, $6.92 billion. The most expensive franchise, honestly, by a lot, even to the Patriots. And the crazy team that I'm noticing on this list at number 10, the Houston Texans at $3.84 billion. Now, it does factor in different things like investment, properties, stuff like that. But a team that's headed for dead last should probably not be worth $3.84 billion. That's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't pay that for the Texans. And so, Ray, how you feeling? You ready to strap it up with the boys?
Yeah, I'm all I'm missing is my mouthpiece. Feels like old times. I mean, I'm ready to roll, baby. This is bringing back memories of game day. I don't know what you're talking about right now. I hear Dallas Cowboys, most expensive team. Troy is trying to talk stuff about my head. My game issued helmet is not in yet. This is a replica. There's something in here that is impeding the helmet to come over the head, but we're ready, baby. We're ready today. Uh,
Yes, sir. Yes,
keep
sir.
keep going so I can put you on the screen and take this off.
So, the biggest thing with this, right, is that we're talking about an average median pricing of $3.5 billion, which is insane for all these teams, man. $3.5 billion just to own an NFL team. I could only imagine what it's going to cost in 5 to 10 years. Like, we may see teams selling for tens of billions of dollars at some point. It's really hard to imagine to think that. I think Jerry bought this team, what, like 30 or 40 years ago for only like 50 million or something like
Yeah,
that. Now it's
yeah.
worth almost 7 billion. Like, that's stuff like that. It almost doesn't make sense, but in a lot of ways, this exponential growth and what we're seeing in money these days, I wouldn't rule anything out. I wouldn't rule out 20 billion one day for these Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure, but are they the most valuable sports franchise in the world? Right, over
Yeah.
every soccer team,
Including soccer teams. Yeah, they're the most
Yankees. It's crazy, man. And then I also saw, I don't know if you sent me the report, but they were talking about NFL stadiums having live sports books inside the stadium to
Yes.
enhance the fan experience. Like, I'm just gonna say this, man. Like, everybody out there, most people who tapped into this at the beginning, you know, we got our start in the fantasy space and we are transitioning. We still do fantasy, but transitioning into the sports betting world. I mean, it is on the precipice of something big. It is truly on the cusp of exploding. And what I tell people is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't gamble. I don't gamble. I don't do that. I don't gamble. It's a nasty addiction. Fantasy football is strictly gambling. Like, all you're doing in fantasy football is you're gambling weekly on your players. You're not paying money every week to set your lineup. But if you play DFS, if you're playing fantasy football, to some degree, you winning money is dependent on the outcome of a sports game, whether that's fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy football. I think there are a lot of exploitable situations that people can utilize fantasy knowledge in order to make money in the sports betting market. And we're going to talk about that later in the show with some of the individual game props, right? You know, over-unders for that particular game. Most of what we had talked about throughout the summer was their over-under totals for the season because the lines hadn't come out for the game yet. That's not going to happen until the week of the games. But if the NFL, we're already seeing this transition of them embracing and adopting and really promoting sports betting. And if this starts to pop up inside these stadiums, inside Cowboys Stadium, inside SoFi Stadium, I saw that, you know, Blue Wire Studios is inside the Wynn Hotel now, and it partnered with Wynn, and they're inside. Like, this is going to be huge. So I would highly recommend, especially for those of you who have an ability to utilize like the DraftKings Sportsbook, FanDuel from your home state, right? Jersey, I think Pennsylvania, Florida's adopted it, Arizona, where it's really easy to use. Like, utilize those tools that we have on FTN Bets / prop-shop. Like, utilize those things in order to take advantage and exploit these matchups. But this is truly ground level stuff that we're getting into. And I think 10 years from now, majority of the people who are casual fantasy football fans who participate in fantasy football seasonally, it's going to be the same way with sports betting, whether that's your team totals for the season or game-by-game matchups, and we're going to get into a little bit of that later on in the show.
Yeah, man, I think you nailed it. And people need to realize that gambling, while it feels like it's very much in your face, I think there's only 10 or 11 legal sports books. Sorry, not legal sports books, illegal in all these states. And even still, it's only kind of like mobile betting. They're not really getting to the full-blown like retail experience. They're doing it a little bit in the stadiums, and that's where you see the partnerships that the NFL has put together with some of these sports books, so you will start to see some of these places popping up. But again, it's only in legal states. That's even close to allowed, and people are talking about how the experience needs to be improved a little bit. But as this becomes more and more mainstream, these sports books are going to be everywhere. Like, you could think of them, I could see them almost being like liquor stores, because everywhere you go, on every corner, you're gonna be able to place a bet somewhere on some sports book. But as well, it's gonna make the environment more competitive. Right now, there's really only, I think, like 7 or 8 major sports books that are legal in a lot of different states. So again, the more competition you have, the better lines you'll find, the easier it'll be to place your bets. But the population will get smarter and smarter as well. So when those lines start moving, they'll shift drastically, because when someone finds a good line, like our boy Elliott Chris does, that's when you're going to need to take advantage of it, because if you don't get it when he gets it, it's going to move very, very quickly, because as this gets more mainstream, more and more people will have access to these lines and we'll be looking at them ahead. And you'll just have to be very, very sharp to make lots and lots of money in this space.
I know a lot of people are just now tuning in, and they didn't get to see me wearing my Cowboys helmet, so I may put that back on later on in the show. So just stay tuned. But it's not just the NFL this today and this weekend. We got college football, and we'll probably hit into a little bit more of that on Friday as well. But this week in week 2, we don't have as many primetime big matchups as we had last week, in my opinion. I think there are some good games, but for me, the 4 that I'm most intrigued by, and the first one should have been like the marquee matchup, but everything that I'm reading, Kayvon Thibodeaux, his status is up in the air. I don't expect him to play, and if he does play, I don't expect him to be very effective. He's dealing with an ankle sprain, just days off of that. I just don't know. I don't know how effective he can be. It's unfortunate that we're not going to get to see a fully healthy Kayvon Thibodeaux, whether he takes the field or not. He's not going to be fully healthy versus Ohio State. Oregon struggled with Fresno State last week. They still have a talented defense led by Noah Sewell and Justin Flo in the middle. But I don't know. It's still going to be a tough test for C.J. Stroud. But without Kayvon Thibodeaux, it takes a lot of the shine away from this game for me. It's an 11 a.m. game. They kick off the slate on Fox. I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate. Ohio State, C.J. Stroud, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams. I expect Ohio State to win this matchup. I still picked them even with the healthy Thibodeaux to win. But without Thibodeaux, I just don't know if they're going to be able to generate the pass rush to bother C.J. Stroud enough to take away his first and second options, which are Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. It's just unfortunate that no Thibodeaux, and that's not even confirmed. I just think even if he plays, he's not going to be the Thibodeaux that we saw early in the game last week versus Fresno State. We've got Iowa versus Iowa State, the Battle of Iowa already underway. Breece Hall, Brock Purdy from Iowa State, Tyler Goodson at Iowa. Iowa every year, tough competitive team, Big 10, Big 12 matchup. Iowa State did not look good last week versus Northern Illinois. So I meant not Northern Illinois, Northern Iowa. Again, should be a marquee matchup. I'll watch it just because I'm evaluating prospects, but not really something that I hope it's a good game. I do think Iowa will win that one. I don't have the lineup in front of me. We'll probably talk a little bit about that
Plus
tomorrow.
4.5.
Plus 4.5 for Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting 4.5 points.
If you want to take Iowa, you get plus 4.5 on that line.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that. I would take the points. I would take Iowa. Iowa State looked bad last week, in my opinion. They did not look good. I was pretty excited to see if Purdy could step up this year and really show something because he's got crazy arm talent. He's a mobile quarterback. But to me, he's like another Ian Book, somebody that's going to get drafted in the, I know Book was drafted in the 4th round, and I don't know why, but, 5th round pick, 6th round pick that I don't think is going to be anything as far as the NFL is concerned. Texas and Arkansas should be interesting. Texas versus Arkansas. Steve Sarkisian travels to the SEC. Arkansas, we know, KJ Jefferson at quarterback. They've got a good running back in Traylon Smith, and then the wide receiver, projected first-round pick, Traylon Burks. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Texas is favored by 7 in this one, and I think they should win. Hudson Card looked really good at quarterback last week. Still working through some things at wide receiver. No Troy O'Meary last week, but we saw Xavier Worthy, Joshua Moore get down the field, make a couple of plays. They rotated Casey Thompson in a tad bit, but Hudson Card definitely looks like a more improved quarterback over Sam Ehlinger. He's not the runner that Sam was, but he can move, and he's got a strong arm to deliver the ball. And then that two-headed backfield of Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson. Bijan, just a beast. Call him whatever you want, Jonathan Taylor, Ricky Williams. He's just good. He's a good running back. We saw him utilized in the slot last week. So I think this is one that I will definitely be tapping into for NFL draft purposes. I want to see how Bijan looks. I want to see how Traylon Burks looks, how Traylon Smith looks. This should be a fun matchup. Big 12, SEC. They're going to be former SEC teammates. They're going to be future SEC teammates here pretty soon. Into the late games, probably not going to be much of a competitive matchup. Stanford is terrible. Preston Johnson, the sports cheetah, and I talked about this on his show, Last Word Cheetah. I think we had Stanford under. I think their over-under win totals for the season was 5.5, and we both took the under. They're just not a very good team. And USC should absolutely steamroll Stanford in this matchup. They're favored by 17.5. Keaton Slovis, Big Drake London, Keontae Ingram, they should put on a show. And I think this is an opportunity for Keaton Slovis to show to the world that that season that he had as a freshman was not a surprise, was not a fluke, that he is a legitimate NFL quarterback. He's got the accuracy. We know he's not super mobile, but he can deliver the ball. USC has a pedigree of developing these quarterbacks into high NFL draft picks. And I think Keaton Slovis, when it's all said and done, at worst, is going to be a second-round pick. So it's going to be fun to watch USC in this matchup. And y'all know, do I need to put the USC helmet on too, Jay? Do I need to put the USC helmet on?
Please don't. You had so much trouble taking that helmet off. Just for the USC, we'll leave it for now. Maybe tomorrow if you want to roll with your Trojans, you can do that. But for today, let's stick to one helmet. Cowboys only, baby. It's Cowboy Day.
So anything you want to talk about for with these college games, any other matchups? And I mean, honestly, like a lot of the big teams, you know, I believe Clemson gets back on track. They've got South Carolina State. We talked about that. Alabama plays Mercer. Bryce Young is probably going to throw the ball 17 times, complete 15 for 295 and 4, and be pulled from the game. A&M versus Colorado could be okay. Texas A&M, 5th-ranked team. Georgia, the new number 2 team versus UAB at home, should roll them. Florida gets South Florida. That's on ABC. Maybe that's a competitive matchup right there. But I'm just not seeing anything on the slate that's just like super worthwhile.
The only other game that I want to watch is North Carolina, Georgia State, because I want to see how Sam Howell looks. Like, he did not look good in that first week. And so I want to see if he can kind of get that offense humming again. And so that's probably one game I will tune into a little bit. They are favored by 26, so they better put on a big performance. And I think based off how we looked last week, he's kind of falling down the QB ranks for 2022. And so that's why I just want to see if he can kind of get it together this week against Georgia State.
And there are a couple of Missouri versus Kentucky. So Will Levis, a quarterback that I think is going to really rise throughout the pre-draft process. We get to see them versus Missouri. That should be okay. Matt Corral is going to light up Austin Peay. So just padding the Heisman resume. Utah, BYU, battle of the Utahs, right? Utah and BYU. That should be interesting. And the primetime game is Michigan versus Washington. Michigan looked good in their first matchup. They looked good. Washington was depleted at wide receiver. I think they had 5 wide receivers out. Starting quarterback looked terrible. I don't know if Sam Heward, the son of Brock Heward, is going to play in this one, but I hope he starts because they just did not look good at all last week. But that is the Saturday ABC matchup. I will be at dinner with my wife. We got reservations at this really dope restaurant. So I won't be missing this one at all. I'll catch it when I get back in. Michigan's got a couple of players that are talented. So I think Michigan beats the snot out of Washington. But other than that, Carson Strong plays late against Iowa State. He'll light them up. But nothing substantial in the college football world, man.
Yeah, no, I think they did a lot of it last week, and we're going to see what happens this week. But I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm more excited, for this NFL slate. We're going to get more into it because it's finally Thursday Night Football. I hear you with the rumblings behind you.
Yeah.
People are excited.
Yeah.
They're ready to see Ray GQ, his Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, opening kickoff, 8:20.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your bets in. And I just want to say something to all the analysts out there. Everyone who's going to be giving analysis today, they're after us. We do the show in the morning. So if you want to get your takes out early, you got to wake up early. You got to get them out. Otherwise, if you say the things that we say on this show, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to straight up call you out. Because that's the problem here. You hear a lot of takes, all people just recycling the same thing. We're not about that. We get up, we put in the work, and we'll give credit where credit is due, but better not say my takes.
What are you talking about? Come the hell on, man.
Wake up. This is Beat the Rush.
Get out of the way, jackass!
I literally had no clue what you were rambling about. I'm not
takes,
joking.
Man. No takes. You better not take my takes. I'm going to call everybody out if they take my takes on the air.
Dallas, Tampa Bay. Let's take a look at it. What do we have? Tampa Bay, the disrespect, -8.5. Not giving my boys any love. You can take Dallas on the money line plus 336. Look at that. Look at that price. Look at those odds for the Dallas Cowboys. You see CeeDee Lamb, Antonio Brown here, over under 51.5. Let's just talk about this game. We know the Buccaneers are defending champs. You can't take anything away from what Tampa Bay did last season. They returned 22 starters. There was a little bit of a questioning if Chris Godwin was going to play. Antonio Brown didn't practice, and they were just blowing smoke because both of those guys were full participants yesterday, and they are going to play. But unfortunately for them, they've got to deal with the young bull in the middle, Micah Parsons, the stud linebacker, and this potent high-flying offense. So when you look at this line, I see you laughing behind the scenes.
Because I don't just make your case. Whatever it is, just make it.
Well, here's my case.
This line is moving in the Bucs' favor. So clearly the bettors are not with you. So you make your case.
All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Dallas is okay. I don't know what I'm saying. They're probably not going to win. I'm just going to be realistic. They're probably not going to win. But I do think we see these teams come off these Super Bowl championships, these NBA titles, and in the opening game, there's so much hype and emotion, and they're supposed to be the favorite. Dallas has got a strong. I'm trying to make a case. Dallas's offense is lethal. It's a lethal, potent offense.
It's good.
And the defense, Mike McCarthy the head coach said, he's never seen a defense turn around as quickly as the Dallas Cowboys have turned around. He's never seen this. He's never seen this happen. So with Micah Parsons in the middle, with Trayvon Diggs' second year in that system, Tank Lawrence back on the defensive line, I think there's a real possibility that the Cowboys give Tampa Bay a bit of a run and cover this 8.5-point spread. Am I crazy?
Historically, yeah, you're crazy because history is not on the side of the Cowboys at all. So to give people some real context rather than some homerism, home teams are 15-3 in Thursday night openers, and they're 11-3-4 against the spread. So about 60% of the time, 70% of the time, they're covering that spread, whatever the spread is, in Thursday night openers. They're going to be at home. They're going to be excited. Teams do start a little slow sometimes, but I'm not expecting that of the Bucs. Bucs have been looking great in preseason. They've been playing Tom Brady even. All the receivers are playing. The running backs are playing. They're going to be ready. Compared to the Cowboys, who the receivers have played a little bit. I don't think Zeke's played a single snap, and Dak hasn't played a single snap. So from that standpoint, they're not as ready as the Bucs. An 8.5-point spread is easily for them to cover. They can win by 2 touchdowns, no problem. But I think your point about potentially a backdoor cover by the Cowboys late in the game, I could see that happening, and maybe the Bucs only win by 10 points or something. Maybe not 10 points, maybe 5 points. We'll see. But backdoor cover by the Cowboys is definitely possible late in the game.
Does it even look like I played collegiate football with this helmet on right now? Do I look like an athlete?
You look like you're wearing a kid's helmet. Like it just looks like it's because your head is so like deep in the helmet. It looks too big for you. And so it's just, you look ridiculous. I'm literally been laughing at you this entire time because
I literally can't see anything. I don't know what time it is. I don't know.
It's like drooped over your eyes. The people, I'm sure the people are laughing. So that it's all for the show, which is good.
Well, it's not just for the show. It's because I have conviction. And I just think that there's a real possibility that Dallas can go out there and surprise some people offensively. I know we haven't seen Dak Prescott throw the ball in the preseason, but when you have the weapons like Amari Cooper, like CeeDee Lamb, like Michael Gallup, and then Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, the offensive line, I'm not sure if Zach Martin cleared COVID protocol yet or not, but the line, even with Zach Martin out, Connor McGovern at the right guard spot. I just think that people may be sleeping on the Cowboys just a tad bit, and there's a case for them to cover the spread. That's all I'm saying.
So Zach Martin is confirmed out. That was confirmed last night. But yeah, so
okay.
I see your point.
I went to bed early. I was watching
clickbait off to the side.
Okay,
we'll see. But
okay,
I don't know,
right,
man.
So,
we'll see.
Let's talk Dak. Let's just talk Dak Prescott, all right? Let's talk Dak Prescott.
All right.
Dak Prescott, over under yards passing. tonight. What are your thoughts here?
For you, the biggest thing, right, for you is that you want to play that narrative that they're probably going to go over. There's going to be a lot of things going on as far as the passing game. It'll be a high total. So from that standpoint, I think it's a fine line for Dak. I know that Brady has about a 300-point line as well. I'm not as inclined to take that line for Brady. I think I like the Dak Prescott line a lot more. And it's just because I believe that the Cowboys are going to be behind. They're going to need Dak to do that pretty much no matter what. Whether or not he hits that number, I'm not entirely sure, but I'd be more willing to bet on the over, I think, than the under, just because I believe they're probably going over. I think the Cowboys are going to throw a lot, and that's why I think all of my bets are trending towards a more high-scoring game and especially a high-volume passing game from the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Tampa Bay's rush defense is no freaking joke. And the fact that Zach Martin is confirmed out, I do believe that they're probably going to have to throw the ball to really move the ball around. Like, they're going to have to throw the ball and utilize those weapons. And if Tom Brady goes out there and throws for 7 touchdowns, like everybody's saying he's going to do, go out there and just light this defense up, then Dallas is going to be put in a position where they're playing from behind. And we saw last season, I mean, they were damn near playing from behind the entire 4.5 games that Dak Prescott played. And what did he do? He was on an absolute tear, on a historic pace to throw for more yards ever in NFL, most yards ever in NFL history. His per game passing yard basis was insane. So 293 and a half yards for Dak Prescott. Do you know what the price is on that? Are those plus odds or minus odds? Do you know off the top of your head? Because my thing is,
it's minus 111 on both ends.
It's minus 111.
That depending on the book, I think that was the MGM line, which is minus 111 on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where I think the high volume and Tampa Bay wants to move the ball. They're up tempo, they're getting up tempo, they're moving the ball. If that's what's happening and Tom Brady is delivering the ball like that, I think there's a very strong case for Dak to hit the over on 293. I didn't touch that number. I didn't touch that number. We'll get into some of my picks later, but I think there's a case to be made for Dak Prescott, 293 and a half, the over on that. And we got some people in the chat. Evan says 8 out of 10 times when Dak gets 35 attempts, he's hit over 300 yards. And 7 out of 11 times he has hit 350 yards. 5 out of 11 he has hit 400. So, I mean, history, statistics are in the favor of Dak Prescott to make the over last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not playing that Tampa Bay defense. So that's where you give me a little bit of pause, is that he's not going to have the time that he has in some of those games to throw the ball for 300 yards.
People are telling me to take the helmet off. I don't even know. I don't know why people are hating on me today. Let me live my best life. It's week 1. Let me live my best damn life. I've waited for this moment. Let me just do me. Like, let me just do me, please. Like, we're providing football analysis. Let me have fun with my helmet. Thank you. All right. So, where was I going with that? What was I talking about? Oh, Tampa Bay's defense. Defensive line, linebacker strength. I don't know if the second – Carlton Davis got his ass lit up multiple times last year. I mean, yeah. I don't know if the secondary – Antoine Whitfield Jr., fantastic. I just don't think the secondary is as vaunted as the rush defense. So, if anything, I like the passing yard numbers for the Cowboys opposed to the rushing yard numbers. But let's get into Zeke Elliott. Let's get into Zeke right now. And Ezekiel Elliott, over under 52.5 rushing yards versus Tampa Bay. What do you think about this?
I think I want to stay away from it. And the only reason why is because I really like his receiving yard number, which I believe when I looked at it this morning is only 20.5. So you talk about, like, he's probably going to be bottled up in the middle, but maybe they can get him out on some flare screens. They maybe even get him split out wide a little bit where he can catch the ball for a few yards. I think it's a very beatable number for him to get it in the receiving game. I don't love it as much at 52.5 in the rushing game, though. Again, it's a number that he can definitely hit, but Tampa Bay does not give up big runs. They only gave up, I believe, 10-yard runs on like 2% of plays, and they were one of the lowest defenses in allowing 5-yard runs, period. So it's just like things are not working in his favor. If Zach Martin definitely doesn't play, it's just looking worse for him. And I just don't love this line. I think they're going to have to do it more getting creative, more so than just running it up the middle in powers, weak sides, tosses, whatever, the way that he normally would when they're not playing such a good defense.
It's one of those things where, in fantasy football, they say start your studs, right? You always start your studs regardless of matchup. And I'm just going to tell the people right now, anytime that we show over-under game totals, we're talking player props for a game, and the Cowboys are featured, just don't listen to anything that I say. Just do not. Just understand that it comes from a place of pure bias. It's pure bias laced with a little bit of reason and rationale. And here's my reason in case for Ezekiel Elliott over 52.5 yards. One, Dak Prescott has not played in a long time. He has not played in almost 365 days. He's still, listen, whatever this shoulder lat strain injury is, he still has not thrown the ball in live game action since the New York Giants game last season. I do not think it would be a prudent or wise move for Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore to roll Dak Prescott out there in opening drive, 3 passes, 4. Like, the best way to keep Tom Brady neutralized is to keep Tom Brady off of the field. You want to try to keep Tampa Bay off the field for as long as absolutely possible. And say what you want about Zeke. Going into year 6, he's slimmed down. He looks in better shape. They're saying, listen, I'm just telling you, don't shoot the messenger. They're saying he's in the best shape of his life since Ohio State freshman season. I think they are going to try to establish the run against Tampa Bay. I do think there's a world in which Tampa Bay just pins their ears back. They try to get after the quarterback, which leaves lanes for Ezekiel Elliott to run through. So I think they are going to try to establish the run, A, to keep Tom Brady off of the field, B, to protect Dak Prescott some, and to just control the flow of the offense. Because if you try to get into a shootout with Tampa Bay, it's probably not what you want. So I like the over of Zeke. And people are saying, would you start him in fantasy tonight? I absolutely would, because volume is king. If you're telling me right now Zeke is going to go out there and get the ball 22 times, I don't think there's any way he carries the ball 20 plus times in this matchup and not hit 52 rushing yards. I just do not think that is a realistic outcome. And that is, I took the helmet off. I'm not being biased. I'm being for real. I took the helmet off. The helmet, I couldn't see. I didn't have glasses on. It was knocking my AirPods out. But if Zeke Elliott is carrying the ball 20 times in this matchup, there is no way. I am the conviction. I'm saying it on the show. There's no way he's under 52.5 rushing yards. I don't believe that. I don't believe that to be the case.
Okay, so I'll give you some other analysis just quickly. So Jeff Ratcliffe has your boy Zeke projected for 14 carries for 54 yards. So he's right there with you. He thinks that there's a very good chance he goes over. And like you said, if he does see those 20 carries, he's definitely going over. But one question I want to ask you is, while you take your sip of your water, is are you more confident in Dak going over or Zeke going over? Because you just said you like Dak going over. You think they're going to have to pass a lot to win this game. Or are you more confident in Zeke actually establishing the run, keeping Tom Brady off the field, and definitely going over that 52? Because I don't know if both are going to hit. Both could hit, but I think when it comes down to it, you probably got to pick a side, whether you want the Dak side or the Zeke side as far as betting goes. And I think where I am with you, I would probably take the Zeke side if I could only pick one.
Yeah, if you're saying that I can only pick one of these lines, it'd be Zeke. It would be Zeke, because I appreciate Jeff's lines, 14 for 54. I think he's going to carry the ball more than 14 times. Now, I do think there's going to be a smattering of Tony Pollard to kind of stretch Tampa Bay out laterally, because what they can't do is just line Zeke up single back formation, 12 personnel, and slam it up the gut. That probably will not end well. Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, Devin White, you're not going to be able to just line them up the A-gap and just ram them up there, right? You're not going to be able to do that. So I do like. Wait a minute. Did y'all say where is the 5-second show of Topo Chico water, bro?
Oh, here we go. Ray will get you his. He's got a little surprise for the people. I think you're gonna save it until Friday, but
no. Since they called it out, I actually ordered limited edition cases of Topo Chico. So here it comes in a limited edition case like this, right? You open it up. And it's got
official unboxing.
An official from the artist who designed the Topo Chico box. And then limited edition, they're only 6.5 ounces, Topo Chicos, with a special Topo Chico engraved over the top. I've got 2 cases of these. It also comes with a custom Topo Chico bottle opener that I used last night. And I will keep one of these boxes dead stock. I will not open one. I will keep it for life because at some point it will be valuable. And for those of you who think I'm bullshitting, here goes 2 bottles of drunk grapefruit Topo Chico right here. So I don't play. But back to the show. If I only could take one, it would be Zeke. I would take the over on Zeke, but I do think they're going to use Tony Pollard to kind of stretch the field laterally and make some running room make some receiving room for Dak Prescott. So let's take a look at CeeDee Lamb. Over under 5.5 catches for CeeDee Lamb. I think this is an over. Where are you at?
I'm with you. You. So I was looking at Jeff's projections this morning. He has actually under. He has him for exactly 5. Where I think he's going to be great this year is in the quick passing game. And we know that he excelled in that at Oklahoma. And that's a way they're going to have to use him in this matchup. They're not going to have the time for him to run down the field and, get 20, 30 yards down the field for Dak to throw a bomb. They're going to have to throw the ball quick. It's going to have to be slants, maybe some slip screens, all this little stuff. And that's where I think the over is very safe. I could see him going for 7 or even 8, especially if the Cowboys get down early. Now, I don't know if you want to talk about his receiving yards, which is a little bit higher. I believe it's 61.5. But I do like this number overall. So you talk about 5.5 receptions and then around 60 yards. It's very doable for CeeDee Lamb. He's a great receiver. We know that he's probably going to be the alpha in this offense. At least many project him to be. 61.5. I'm iffy on it. I'm really iffy on it because I don't know. I really like as far as the receptions go because I think it's going to be a quick passing game. But if Tampa Bay can close quickly, yards may be tough to come by for CeeDee Lamb. And a lot of these guys are projected for around the same, like 60 yards, 70 yards. Only some of them are going to get there. While I think CeeDee can get there, I'm much more confident in the receptions than the yards. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, it's going to be interesting to see because early in training camp, it seemed like the connection between Dak Prescott and whoever was throwing the ball. And remember, Amari Cooper missed the beginning part of training camp, right? Nursing that ankle injury. CeeDee Lamb was the top target. Every practice highlight, it was CeeDee Lamb, bubble screen, smoke screen, down the field, dig route, slant route, fade route, CeeDee Lamb. I think the over 5.5 receptions is a lock. And I'd like to say because of how good he is, Dallas is no slouch. Tampa Bay, rightfully so, should be favored in this matchup. But Dallas offensively is not a pushover, and we saw CeeDee Lamb thrive with 4 different quarterbacks last season. 4. He gets his guy back this season, and I think this is the year where he ascends to the top target in Dallas. We saw that during the Hard Knocks episodes. We saw that during practices in the preseason. And CeeDee Lamb did get on the field a little bit during the preseason, but I feel more confident in his receiving receptions opposed to the yards, but I wouldn't be shocked. Would anybody listening be shocked if CeeDee Lamb went 6 for 81, 7 for 92? I think talent prevails, and when you're telling me I can take Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb versus, Carlton Davis or whatever other cornerback they have playing against him, I'm going to bet on the offensive player. I'm going to bet on CeeDee Lamb being one of the primary targets for Dallas and hitting that over on the receptions. The receiving yard, 61.5 is a little bullish considering the fact that he has not had any live game action with Dak Prescott since last season. So I do feel more confident in CeeDee Lamb's over receptions total than I do his yards total. But if Tampa Bay goes out there, if you truly have the conviction that Tampa Bay is going to stomp Dallas tonight, then I think you smash the overs for the receivers because they're going to have no choice, whether it's just getting in practice work towards the end of the game of a blowout or it's trying to actually mount a comeback. CeeDee Lamb taking the over 61.5 yards.
Yeah, and just to kind of add more context, even if he was to only hit his average for the season with Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci and a little bit of Dak Prescott last season in his rookie year, he would still hit the over on only 5 receptions because he averaged 12.6 per reception. So you think about if he can get that 6 catch mark, he should be able to hit that quite easily just based on his historical averages. And so that's another reason why I do like that number. But again, I am with you that I think the quick passing game is going to have to be a big factor. And so we could see that for Amari Cooper. We'll probably see it for a little bit of even Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard. And then definitely as far as CeeDee Lamb's concerned, because he's easily the best yak receiver on that entire roster and one of the best probably even in all of the NFL. So I think from that standpoint, the catches should be really good. And they're making the comments in the chat too. Garbage time. There could be plenty of garbage time. And you made the point earlier in the week. Dak needs the reps, so he's probably not going out. The receivers are not going out regardless of the score because they need to just practice getting those plays in together, and they need it in live action because that's the only way, regardless of the score, they're going to improve throughout the rest of the year.
Yep, and garbage time points still count. Garbage time yards still count. So I don't care if it's garbage time, real time, any of that. We're trying to make the money. Dallas probably doesn't win this game. I took the helmet off. The reality of the truth came back in. Let's take a look at Amari Cooper real quick, all right? I just want to pull up Amari Cooper. I want to see the difference. So for him, we have Amari Cooper over, under. I'm seeing the different sports books between 66.5 and 64.5 yards for Amari Cooper. Receptions, I bet you they're right at 5.5. 5.5. Over, under 5.5 for Amari Cooper. And if you take the over on Cooper, you actually get plus odds, plus 110. You could get that price as well if you go to ftnbets.com/prop-shop. Score a touchdown for Cooper, you can get plus 800, plus 18, plus 180 for Amari Cooper to score a touchdown. And I think Amari Cooper is one of those slept-on type of wide receivers as well. I know we're bullish and excited about CeeDee Lamb, but let's not forget how damn talented Amari Cooper is. So anything else you want to touch on from the Cowboys game? Are there any other players you're interested in, their prop lines?
No, not really. Like Michael Gallup had a similar line, about 60 yards. In this game especially, you do see a lot of 5.5s. To talk to Stone's point about Chris Godwin, he is cleared to play. So they took everyone off the injury report. So there was questions about Antonio Brown, which everyone thought he would play anyways. But Chris Godwin was cleared. He's not on the injury report for tonight. So everyone, as far as the weapons go, should be ready to go. And then to your point about Amari Cooper, Jeff has him projected for 69 yards. So again, similar to CD, he's projecting the yards over, but he does only have them for 5 receptions apiece.
Well, interesting one. Tony Pollard, over, under 1.5 receptions.
Oh man, I think you got to go over.
Over,
I think
right?
The way that they're going to have to play, I could see that. But I think the problem is that what if Zeke just gets all the work? You know, like I think there's a real possibility of that because they know that Zeke needs to be the guy. And I know people want to talk about Tony Pollard, but there is a real world where he just maybe doesn't get a whole lot of snaps. It's only week 1. They don't need to spell Zeke in week 1. He could play, 35, 40 opportunities in this game and be perfectly fine. Down the line, they'll have to work him in. But in a game against the Bucs, man, they need all hands on deck. And if that means playing Zeke every snap, maybe they're willing to do it if it's close.
Yeah, that's we're just looking at the lines, right? We're just looking at the pricing. And I think, you know what I'm saying? 1.5 yards for Tony Pollard is 100% doable. And I'm actually looking at the Magic Sports Guide from Kevin Adams. I mean, just this is legit. Like I'm not even joking. Like very, 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 very well thought out information from Kevin. And Dak Prescott targeted his running backs on 18.8% of his pass attempts last season. And then after of his pass attempts last season, after 16.1 in 2019, which was 30th. So that's good for 7.7.5 targets per game for the running back. So Dak Prescott in almost 20% of his pass attempts last season, he targeted running backs. So it'll be interesting. I like 1.5, the over for Tony Pollard in that. Game script, if Tampa Bay's winning the game, Tony Pollard, 2 screenplays, boom, there he goes. You cash out on Tony Pollard. But let's take a look at the GOAT, Tom Brady. And this is a line that I abso-freaking-lutely love. I don't love it as a Cowboys fan, but from a betting perspective, Tom Brady, will he throw 3 touchdown passes? Over, under, total at 2.5. I think this is an over, and I put my money where my mouth is on this one. I do think this is an over for Tom Brady. They look to be clicking on all cylinders during the preseason. The limited time that they played in, Chris Godwin is playing, Antonio Brown is healthy, Mike Evans is there, O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski. I mean, you get down to the goal line, a lot of people think they're going to pound the ball with Leonard Fournette. It's play action, dump it to Gronk, Cameron Brate. What do you think about Tom Brady's over, under 2.5 passing yards?
I really like it. Implied total of 30 points. So that's about 4 touchdowns and a field goal for the Bucs. I could easily see a scenario where Tom Brady throws for 3 touchdowns. But I did actually place a bet this morning on Tom Brady anytime touchdown at plus 450. We know when he gets down to the goal line, he does like to sneak it in. Yeah, plus 450 anytime touchdown for Tom Brady. So if anytime you can get 5-1 odds on Tom Brady sneaking in a touchdown, it's probably worth taking. And I would suggest to a lot of people, it's a bet that I made last year a lot. I got Carson Wentz bet on 1 touchdown. I got Cam Newton on 2 touchdowns at like 20-1 last year, a couple times early in the year. Early in the year, you can really exploit quarterback rushing touchdown props, and you see it more and more every year. You don't target the Lamar Jacksons, the Kyler Murrays, guys like that, but you may find a soft line on Dak Prescott. I believe he was 2.5-1, but Tom Brady at 4.5-1. No, he hasn't rushed for that many touchdowns, but he's good for 3 or 4 a year. And why not in opening week? Last year, the very first touchdown the Bucs scored was a sneak with Tom Brady in New Orleans.
Yeah, and back to Kevin Adams' Magic Sports Guide. Check this out. Check this stat out. In the 9 games where Antonio Brown was in the lineup, the Bucs averaged 31.1 points a game and 311 passing yards, 3 touchdowns from Tom Brady. Right over the last 3 games to end the season, Tom Brady averaged 379 passing yards and 3.3 passing touchdowns over the last 3 games when Antonio Brown is in the lineup. Antonio Brown is in the lineup. He's healthy. He's playing the best he's played in the past 3 to 4 years. Tom Brady, anytime touchdown, smash money. Tom Brady over under 2.5 passing touchdowns in this game. Over. They're at home. He probably throws a passing touchdown on the first damn drive of the game. So I love this line for Tom Brady. Are these plus or minus odds? I think these are minus odds for Tom Brady, right? Probably like minus 111. Yeah, on the over, minus 111. But I love that for Tom Brady. And we talked about Antonio Brown, and let's get into it. This is an interesting one, which looked a little more attractive when Chris Godwin's status was up in the air. Godwin is playing. Antonio Brown, I don't want to say Julian Edelman, but I think he might serve that Julian Edelman role for Tom Brady this year. And if that's the case, Antonio Brown is going to absolutely feast. He is going to eat 4.5 receptions over under for AB, Boney Tony, Toe Tap Tony. What do you think about Potato Gang Antonio Brown himself?
I love this, man. Even at minus 125 on DraftKings is the best line they have out there. It's juiced all the way down to minus 150 on BetMGM. So you think people are hammering this number. 4.5 is light. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, they all got 5.5 numbers, but Antonio Brown's got a 4.5. It's an easy smash. Jeff Ratcliffe has him matched up in his cornerback wide receiver matchups. He's the 3rd highest receiver across the entire NFL slate as far as his matchup goes against Anthony Brown, I believe. So he is going to really, really, really beat down on Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
He's, like I said, he's got one of the best matchups. The only people better than him this week are Devontae Adams, who's number 1, and I forget who number 2 is. But when you talk about just having those guys outside, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then still having a capable running back in the backfield, Antonio Brown, one-on-one. How does anybody cover that guy? And Bruce Arians is talking about how he looks like the old Pittsburgh Steelers Antonio Brown. Five receptions should be money in the bank. He could see 6. He could see 7. It really just depends on how the team looks early on, but I think he's a favorite target of Tom Brady, and we saw that throughout the second half of the year through the playoffs.
Well, just to look at the other pass catchers, Chris Godwin, his over-under total, 4.5. Mike Evans, MGM has him at 3.5 over-under. 3.5, and then you go all the way down to FanDuel 4.5. So 4.5 AB, 4.5 Mike Evans, 4.5 Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and AB has the best matchup, probably by a mile.
Yes.
But all 3 of them are top 13 on the wide receiver cornerback index. So you think about across the entire NFL, those 3 guys have 3 of the top 13 matchups. Chris Godwin's the 2nd best, and then Mike Evans is the 3rd best. Obviously, Mike Evans seeing top coverage, AB seeing 3rd coverage. Dude's going to light up the Dallas Cowboys today. Easy.
So you're saying start your Bucs in fantasy football. Start Antonio Brown.
Start Antonio Brown.
Start
How do you
Chris
feel about Mike Evans?
He's a deep. Tom Brady's going to take his shots, right?
I think he will too.
He's going to take his. I mean, he did it last year. He's going to take his shots. And averaging 300 plus passing yards. Didn't you tell me that Tom Brady led the league in, what was it, yards per pass attempt last year? Was it some?
By a lot.
By a lot.
Yeah,
by
a lot.
Like YOLO old man Brady wants to launch the ball deep, and we know that like Tom Brady's got the Ryan Fitzpatrick YOLO-ness to his game, but a million times better, right? More accurate, knows what he's doing. it's controlled YOLO. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick is uncontrolled YOLO. It's just like shit. I'm just throwing a 9 route. Brady is strategic with it, and I like all the Bucs, man. The thing with Dallas is Anthony Brown is not an elite corner. Trayvon Diggs has the chance to be elite, and I think him battling with CeeDee Lamb day in and day out is going to bode well for him. Kelvin Joseph, I don't know, man. He's a rookie out of Kentucky. I like him long term. I just don't know about right now. You know, Donovan Wilson at safety, Malik Hooker. I think it's going to be bombs over Baghdad with these wide receivers. It could be. It could be rough. I saw somebody ask about Ronald Jones. Here's an interesting one. Ronald Jones receiving yards in this game. Do you know what the line is?
It's probably 15.
5.5.
Wow.
5.5.
That's really low.
Right now, FanDuel's got it at 6.5, but 5.5 yards for Ronald Jones. All he needs is a screen. One screen, right? One screen, he smashes that. His rushing yard total in this game, 46.5. 46 to 48. I see 46.5. FanDuel's got him at 48.5. Anything you like about Ronald Jones? And I want to compare him to Leonard Fournette while you say that.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you looked that up because I was looking for Gio Bernard lines this morning. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find Gio Bernard lines anywhere. I wanted, maybe 15 receiving yards. But I was looking at Leonard Fournette receiving yards, and he was at 12.5 or 11.5 receiving yards. And that's one that interested me because in 14 games, I believe he went at or over that number. If the number was 11.5, he went over, I believe, 10 of 14 games. But there is still the Gio Bernard factor, and I do believe Gio Bernard will be heavily involved in this offense on passing downs. So that's my only fear with Ronald Jones. I think he's probably third in the pecking order as far as receptions go. But to your point, if on first down they want to kind of sneak a screen into the offense, it's going to be to Ronald Jones more likely than not. It won't be to Leonard Fournette because I think we all project Ronald Jones to be that early down back. So I really like the number of 12.5 for Leonard Fournette. No Gio Bernard lines yet, unfortunately. But Ronald Jones 6.5, I'd be willing to take a shot because at the end of the day, it's a one-play bet. It's all or nothing. He can probably get it on one play. I'm pretty sure he averaged actually a lot, like 9 or 10 yards of reception last year from the running back position. So again, it's one play for him, and I think he can do it for sure.
You know what I like for Leonard Fournette is plus 210 to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I like Leonard Fournette plus 210 to score a touchdown. I mean, you could double your money off of one TD. They get in the goal line, hand it to Lenny, play action, running back in the flat. I like Leonard Fournette plus 210, and you can get that at MGM, and that's high. I mean, FanDuel's got it at plus 160, so if you can get plus 210 for Leonard Fournette to score a touchdown, I actually really like that bet. I like the price. I like that bet, and I'm actually trying to place that right now as we talk. So let's look at, because I did put in a 4-leg parlay. I put in a 4-leg parlay. So this is what I have. Ronald Jones over 48.5 rushing yards. Tampa Bay on the money line. Ezekiel Elliott over 55.5 rushing yards. And Antonio Brown plus 4.5 receptions. A little under half a unit at plus 476. That's what I got on the action tonight. So mark it down, write it down. GQ's Thursday Night Football, same game, 4-leg parlay. Parlay Ray is back, trying to win some people some money. What do you think my chances are of cashing out tonight at 11 p.m. when I'm laying my head down to watch clickbait on Netflix? Will I have a couple of more dollars in my account, or did I just squander some money?
So it's funny because when we started talking about this, when you sent me this bet, I thought you were crazy for taking the over for Zeke. But because you don't have it parlayed with Dak's passing yards, I think it has a better shot. Because I like the Ronald Jones number. I think he's going to run all over the Cowboys. I think he could see 60, 70 yards pretty easily. And the best thing about Ronald Jones, he was third in average yards after contact at over 4 yards or something crazy like that. So he can break tackles in the backfield. He's elusive. He's great whenever he gets the ball. So I like that number. 50 yards, more than doable. Bucs money line. We already saw it's like minus 430. So it's really just to make that parlay a little bit juicier.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Antonio Brown number we love already. But for me, it's the Zeke number that I was most concerned about. I would love it as a 3-leg parlay with just those 3 without Zeke. But I do think, as more we talked, the number is very doable, especially in the way that you're scripting this game. This game right now, and the way you scripted this parlay, it's going to be a closer game. You're not going with the overs or anything, so you're projecting a lot of more running, which is good on both sides, and it helps both those two running backs kind of going back and forth. AB to help move the chains, and ultimately Tampa to win, probably in like a 24-20 game, a lot closer than maybe some are expecting. But I think that's the game script you kind of played here, and I think it all works together in a great way. The biggest thing with parlays is you have to tell a story with them. You can't just throw Dak over and then Zeke over and then this. Like, it has to kind of make sense. And I think if you were to even parlay this with the under as well, that's still playing into the same game script model that you're following with this parlay.
All right, so I'm doing this now, right now. I've got Leonard Fournette will have at least one touchdown, and then I parlayed it just with Tampa Bay to win the matchup. I'm just going to put 0.1 units on this. Not much. Oh God, no. That gets me nothing. You know what? Let's go.
Do the Brady anytime touchdown. See what the number is on that.
Do the Brady anytime touchdown? Okay.
This morning at plus 450.
All right.
I'll look. Right. I can look up the lines for the people now, but I think that's probably your best bet. And that's just my opinion, right? Like, I do like the number for Leonard Fournette, but you're getting like 2.5 times the price, and I think both of them have equal shots of scoring. Like, I really don't think Leonard has any more of a shot of scoring than Tom Brady does. It's just Tom Brady will have to sneak it in, but we've seen him do it plenty of times. That's just kind of my own opinion.
I can't get it. So I'm just doing Leonard Fournette, one touchdown, plus 150, and then I just put Tampa Bay to win the matchup. I'm putting 0.25 units on it. Place parlay. I got my returns here. Confirm. Bet is good. So I got a lot of action on tonight's game. So it's either going to be a great day for me tomorrow on the show, or it's not going to be good. It's just not going to be good. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I hope everybody is tapped in tonight. We appreciate y'all joining the show. Jay, any parting words? Appreciate you, Real King. He said, great show, GQ and Jordan Peace. Any parting words for tonight?
Yes, sir. So I want to let the people know, if you don't know already, the Fantasy Happy Hour on FTN is back with your boy, Ray GQ. Newly added addition to FTN, Brooke Cromer and Elliott Chris, making sure the place looks extra ugly. So make sure you tap in and check out the Fantasy Happy Hour. I believe it's at 8 o'clock, right? You know, Brooke's great.
8 Eastern. 8 Eastern,
is
7.
Brooke going to be there today, or is she going to the Rams?
No, Brooke is big time. Brooke is being flown out by the Rams to do some stuff with the Rams. She's got a seat right next to Jalen Ramsey. So Chris Meany is filling in for Brooke. We lied to the people saying Brooke Cromer is going to be on just to get people to join. But Brooke will be there next week. No Brooke today. Just me, Meany, and Elliott. So I'm pretty sure nobody will tune in. But if you can, just turn it on and listen to us. We're going to have fun talking props. They'll be drinking some drinks. It's happy hour with me. I'm abstaining from alcohol, so I'll have my Topo Chicos, and we'll have a good time, man.
Yeah. I'll be tuning in for sure. But I was telling the people, maybe not this week because Brooke's not going to be there, but I want to see you in that Rams helmet, because that's what the people want to see.
They want to see me in this Michigan helmet. They want to see me in this Michigan. Hey, we're going to give it away. We are going to get Michigan plays in primetime. We're going to give it away next week. Like, we're going to get it's NFL. Let's see if the Wolverines can get another dub, but we're going to give the Michigan helmet away. We thank y'all for tapping in. Keep waking up with us. We love to have fun. We appreciate the comments, the feedback, subscribing to the podcast, to the YouTube channel. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll be transparent with our bets, and we're just going to have a lot of fun on this show. So welcome to football. Get excited. Be happy. And how about them Cowboys, baby? How about them Cowboys?